Guys, today I'm going to continue with the coloring book series, and as requested, instead of crayons, I picked up a pack of colored pencils. I also found a more substantial coloring book. This one is the Avengers. So let's get right into it. I have nothing specific I really wanted to talk about today. So I'm just going to do a little ramble. Generally when I ramble I start to talk about, or at least I found that I start to talk about, things that I think might be affecting you guys, and through my own personal experience I know has affected me. So I'd like to hear your feedback on maybe what you guys would like to hear. Maybe not like to hear, but when I do ramble, if you like hearing about that stuff, or if you would prefer kind of more lighter content, maybe less focused on problems, more focused on, I don't know, fun things, maybe even. Sorry guys, taking all these pencils out became kind of noisy, so I skipped it. So I know some of you have requested other things, maybe videos without even talking. I'm definitely going to do some of those. I don't know. I just really like to hear what you guys would like to hear yourselves. This way, I can make these videos more suited to you guys. Because I know I have very specific things that I like. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside just a bit. Okay, I have my little sharpener here. So let's open this up and pick a page that we want to work on. This is Thor banishes his evil brother Loki to the island of trolls. Not feeling like coloring in Thor, so let's maybe do another one. Iron Man. Captain America. We have Ant-Man here. Let's start off with the leader, Captain America. So, I think it's kind of funny that I have to reference the front. Oh yeah, just to make sure I get the colors right. So let's get started here. So yeah, one of you guys suggested that colored pencils would make a better noise, and I agree. The crayons were nice, but this is better. So, like I said, no real plan for what I wanted to talk about here today. But I'm sure I'll stumble on something. I've been talking a lot about holiday stuff, because over here it's, I like to do that. I live with my girlfriend and, we have a 2-bedroom apartment. And, we put up a Christmas tree, we do the whole thing, but, I tend to go a little nuts on Christmas, spend all my money on gifts. It's a common thing. It makes me question how responsible I am the way I'll just, if I see something that I think someone will like, I'll get it. I don't worry about the cost of it. And I'm not rich by any means, but I don't know, it's just a time of year that I do like, aside from, like I spoke about in another video, the seasonal affective disorder, the wintertime blues. It's been a big factor for me, and big challenge. So last year when I was experiencing those, I finally sucked it up and looked for a therapist, which I have never been into the idea of it. Because I've been to a couple over my life. I don't have, my problems are not necessarily, I guess compared to a lot of people, I'm pretty lucky. But, I feel like if everyone had the right therapist, everyone's got problems, so I think it's helpful. But after going to 18 different ones in my life, I did end up finding one that really works for me. And it's amazing what it does. I've been going for about a year. And it's amazing what it does in that time when you find the right one for you. So right now in my therapy, it kind of turned into, my therapist is a meditation practitioner, or whatever you call it. He is a master when it comes to meditation and yoga and all that stuff, which is why I was interested in him in the first place. Because I'm not really interested in taking pills for mental things, although I'm not against it. I have absolutely been on things in difficult times in my life, and I think they're totally necessary to help you get out of the roughest parts, if taken responsibly. So yeah, now in my therapy we are working on meditation, and this is to help me with, at night I sometimes get a little anxious, just because I've had issues with sleep before, and it's been a very difficult thing to shake, the nighttime anxiety. So the meditation, it does help. I'm just in the very preliminary stages of learning, and I'll share with you guys what he taught me. It's very simple. It's not really a thing. It's something to practice, and it's the first step that one should take when learning meditation. Because meditation is not just about shutting your mind off or learning how to do that. It's about, being mindful, not mindless. Just gonna reference. Okay, so he's got white and red gloves. So I already screwed up. Okay, we'll just color over it. Orange, no. Red, okay. So the first step he taught me is to be fully observant of your own thoughts. And to do this, it's more difficult than you think. To start, I had to basically say it out loud. For instance, my first time trying to do this, I was sitting quietly and just letting my mind think or worry or do whatever it wanted to do. So I sat there and let it go, and I found it very difficult to kind of rein in my thoughts. And at first it's supposed to be very difficult. It's supposed to be a challenge. And it's basically, you have to see it as similar to a muscle that you're training. Your mind is like a muscle. You can't just think, okay, I'm going to be observant of my thoughts, and then that's it. You have to teach yourself. You have to practice doing it. It's not terribly difficult, but it does take a commitment. So, what I did to start was I started to verbalize quietly in a whispering voice like this one. I would think, okay, it's 11 at night. I'm tired, but not too tired. I see that I'm getting just a little anxious about going to sleep. What if I don't fall asleep tonight? All those irrational thoughts. And I'm just saying them out loud. I am feeling this way. At the same time, I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling lucky. But I'm feeling it's difficult to be entirely content with that luck and that happiness, that gratefulness. And then I realized, and then I'm saying, it's disappointing. I feel disappointed that I can't just feel lucky and happy. Why is there this feeling of anxiety? And then you really start to just analyze your feelings. You start to go back, okay, why am I afraid of not sleeping? Well, the worst thing is tomorrow I'll be tired. Well, that certainly doesn't scare me, so what is it about it that scares me? And then I realize I'm not really scared at anything. So it starts off by rationalizing the thought process. Understanding what's a rational thought and what isn't. And I think that's the first step of meditation, is the enemy of a clear mind is a rational thought. So the purpose of being observant of your thoughts are just to be aware and outside. It's like you're an outside observer. That way you can be objective in how you approach and deal with each thing that you're worried about. So it's pretty effective, I think. So far it's promising. But yeah, it's definitely something I need to practice, and you could take 20 minutes a day, sit down with your eyes opened or closed, and just basically watch your thoughts almost like TV. Don't get too invested. Don't get, if say you're sad or happy, just say, oh, right now I'm sad or happy. I'm feeling this, but don't allow yourself to get into that feeling. Just observe it. Just observe it for what it is. This way that you could, you could understand your own mind, how it works. And once you understand it to an extent, then you'll be able to manipulate it. This takes months. I'm not there yet, but it's interesting. The mind is an interesting thing. Let's see. Got my little sharpener here. Do it over here. Oh, it makes a better noise when it's sharp, so let's keep these sharp. Let's see, what color are his pants? I think they're red, so we're gonna go with that. This is orange. We got red over here. So, there's a lot of different ways to go about starting meditation, but maybe this is one to try for you. If you've always been interested, like me, but never jumped right in, it's a good place to start. Another good place to start is the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which is very well known, but if just in case you don't know it, you breathe in through your nose for 4, hold it in for 7 seconds, and then release for 8 seconds. Basically what that does is your body, so your mind reacts to your body. So, for example, if you have an empty stomach, sometimes the mind could take that feeling that you have in your stomach, when it's bubbly and empty and feels empty. Your mind could sometimes mistake that for anxiety, then causing you to feel anxious. So, the purpose of those breathing techniques are, if you're breathing out, so you're breathing in a little bit, 4 seconds through your nose, and then you hold it, which slows down your heart rate a bit. And then when you breathe out, it's communicating to your body that you are letting it release. It's a release. So if you think about someone being relieved, what are you thinking? Normally it's they're sighing, letting out an exhale, like that's a natural thing. That's your body's way of just releasing any extra feeling. So that's what that breathing technique does. You could do it 4 times. That also takes practice to be able to do it. In an effective way, it takes about 2 weeks of doing it every day. So if you guys would like to try that, that's something that I do find to be effective. That is something that I do find to be effective. Alright, enough of Captain America. Let's see who's next. There's a lot of Thor so far. We have Ant-Man punching a goblin. Let's see. pictures assemble. Let's see. Maybe the next picture I color, I'm not going to go by the normal color standards of the superheroes. Let's do Ant-Man. Let's make Ant-Man feminine. Why not? Okay, so he's going to be what color is this called? I can't, magenta. Okay. So, oh, already broke. It's a little too sharp. So, as I mentioned in my last coloring video, they have found that coloring is the closest you could get to meditating, the way your mind works when you're doing it. And I find that's a little bit true, because when I'm doing it, I kind of space out a bit. Which is why it's hard to continue talking. I've actually found my eyes closing a little bit. So it's definitely nice. I wish there was a way other than just the comments section for a way to get feedback from you guys. I mean, I'm sure there's Twitter and all that, but I don't really do that. Although maybe I should. So this way we could all communicate a little better. I don't think my channel is up to a point where I have enough followers to really start a Twitter and make it something that's effective. Maybe if this continues to grow. That would be nice if it does, but totally okay if it stays the way it is. So this doesn't look, I guess, that feminine. It's pretty close to Ant-Man's red. Oh, yeah, he's becoming Giant Man. So he's a giant man in a pink outfit. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I'm assuming you have, most of you, the Ant-Man movie. Not so great. We all, actually, maybe we all don't know the story behind it getting made and why, what it could have been. I have spoken about this in other videos, but, it's something that, I wish didn't go down because the original director for the movie was supposed to be Edgar Wright, who directed Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, The World's End, all those. And he didn't want to go by Marvel's formula that they've been sticking to. And because of that, they took the movie away. So an Ant-Man movie made by Edgar Wright would have been something totally different than what we ended up seeing. there's all these trailers coming out these days for all the movies, and the more they're doing that, the less I'm interested. I don't know, it might be reaching a point of oversaturation of superhero movies. Let's make his gloves. What color? Sure, this will be a weird colored Ant-Man or Giant Man. The only thing about colored pencils is the colors are not as bold as the crayons, but that's okay. There's more precision with them. So there's his arm. So, yeah, it's tough when it's not, I don't have you guys talking back at me. It's a very one-way conversation. Maybe if you guys have any questions or anything, maybe in the next video I could answer some questions. I don't know. I don't know if you'll have any questions at all. But if you do, hey, feel free to ask. Someone asked in a video if I could do a video basically on the history of comics, because he said he likes the channel but doesn't know much about comic books. So that's definitely something that I'd like to do. I would like to take my time with it though, because although I know a great deal about comic books, I could definitely know more before I sit here and tell other people about them. So I'm doing my research, I'm getting my, brushing up on my comic history. Maybe bring some of you guys up to speed on where they're at and how they got to be where they're at. It's kind of amazing to think in like the mid-90s. Again, Giant Man doesn't know how to color coordinate at all. He's all over the place. But yeah, in the mid-90s, Marvel Comics were on the brink of bankruptcy. And a lot of credit was given to Kevin Smith, the director, for for his run on Daredevil as being on the Marvel Knights series. He gets credit for kind of yanking Marvel out of the funk that they were in after the early 90s success. Basically, in the early 90s, Marvel heavily leaned on the X-Men, X Factor, all the X heroes. And I think that ran its course, and they were looking for the next thing. And really what I think was the thing that took them to a new level was character development, and Kevin Smith's Daredevil had a lot of that. They had a lot of religious undertones and stuff like that, but that's a Daredevil character. His mom is a nun. What other ridiculous colors could we use? Let's make his boots just straight pink. So Marvel started to climb out of their 90s funk and really took it to a next level. I think when they started the Marvel Now, I forgot what year that was, maybe 2010 or something. I don't know, that's just a guess. Maybe later, maybe 2012. Basically, that was a huge reboot, similar to at the same time where DC did the New 52, where they just rebooted their whole universe. They changed a lot of characters, like Superman was not your established Superman, he was a kid. And, they did stuff like that, like new takes on old characters. It was met with very mixed reviews. I thought a lot of it was underwhelming. Now I'm talking about the DC New 52. Some standout books, I think, was Wonder Woman by Brian Azzarello, who right now is writing with Frank Miller the Dark Knight Masterclass series that just started. Then there was Action Comics written by Grant Morrison, which started out okay, and then around Trade Volume 3 kind of picked up. It's a great story with the fourth dimensional being Mr. Mixelbitlick. I think that's how you say it. But the Superman title was started by George Perez, famous artist. They gave him the Superman title, and they shortly took it away from him. I don't know if that was his own doing or it wasn't very good, but that could have just been because he was only signed on for so many issues. Right now, I believe Action Comics is being written by Greg Pak, who wrote Planet Hulk and much of the Doomed DC event, which I thought fell a little flat too, but was okay. I like the idea. The idea was that Doomsday, the bad guy that killed Superman in the 90s, isn't necessarily one being. He's like almost like an intangible, where if you kill him, he gives off spores, and those spores infect someone else, turning them into Doomsday. So basically, Superman tore Doomsday in half with his hands. It was a great page. But when he did that, all of the spores within him dispersed. Superman breathed them in, and then was slowly being taken over by Doomsday. So we had a Superman Doomsday on our hands. Which was grounds for what could have been a great story, but I feel like it just became way too action heavy, and I don't know. So Marvel's Marvel now has so many great titles in it. And that's why they have a significantly higher market share than DC these days. It's amazing that DC, even with their control of the two biggest superheroes in the world, and obviously Superman and Batman, lost a significant market share to Marvel, who, can't be discounted on their own because they have some pretty huge characters. I think the number one is Spider-Man. People love Spider-Man. And then they have, Deadpool is huge these days, but I think he's going to fade out soon. I don't see him as one of the timeless classics. And then, of course, you go down the list of all the Avengers. You have the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. The Punisher, Daredevil, all those guys. So Marvel is doing just fine. There's my ridiculous giant man. Let's keep going. There's Tony Stark. How many words can you spell using the letters in Stark Industries? Alright, let's give this a try. You know what? Let's not. That sounds boring. I would color Iron Man, but I'm going to have to do a lot of referencing. It's just, I guess he's all red and yellow mask. Let's do that. Let's color Iron Man. I'm going to put some of these pencils back on this side. Let's start off with the yellow pieces. Look at the front to reference again. So yellow mask, yellow arms, yellow legs. Fair enough. It's almost like you can't even see the yellow. I know he's supposed to be more gold, but I don't think I have a gold. It's the closest thing. This is called golden yellow, so yeah. It looks like BB yellow. So It's kind of a little harder to get even color dispersion with a colored pencil. Okay, so this looks like it's not quite the same suit. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, his arms here are yellow too. So, I'm curious as to what your guys' favorite Marvel and DC characters are. Feel free to throw that in the comments. Especially if you're one of my return listeners, I'd love to focus more on what you guys like. Some things we're going to do in the future, I'm going to do more spotlight videos, although my spotlight on Electra video is my lowest viewed. I don't know if that's because it's the only video I'm not whispering in. And maybe it's just because Electra isn't a very popular character, which she isn't. I knew that going into it, but some other characters I was interested in doing a little spotlight on is Moon Knight. Specifically Warren Ellis's run on Moon Knight that started in, I believe it started in 2014, maybe 2013, very late 2014. But that's what I'd like to do. Also Silver Surfer. And for his, looking at the early 90s run with Ron Lim and Jim Starlin and around the Infinity Gauntlet time. And then also the current run with Dan Slott and Mike Allred, because it's just so different. Yeah, they're really doing something different with that series compared to other Marvel comics. So, those are two I want to do. I always want to do more Superman videos, but I feel like, everybody knows about Superman. Max Landis, the director who directed and wrote, I believe, the movie Chronicle about the superheroes, and a movie that came out this past year with Kristen Stewart and Jesse Eisenberg called American Ultra. He did that movie as well. But I showed you guys in one of my other videos. He is writing a Superman story right now, and so far, although it's one issue in, it's great. So when he's all done with that, I figured that would be a good one to read through entirely, assuming it keeps up the high quality. Just because there's nothing I love more than a classic, great Superman story. I just don't think it gets better than that. Another idea for videos is more comics, of course. It's I like to collect old comics that are just like, there was a point in the golden age where, the comic authority was not allowing, there was so much censorship. So it seemed like they were like running out of ideas. So a lot of superheroes were just getting in ridiculous situations. Like, for instance, one of my favorite examples of this is when Superman went in a phone booth to change, and he comes out and he's just a big fat guy. So basically I want to do a video of the more ridiculous side of comics. There's one where Superman fights Father Time, basically, and it says like something like, the only foe that Superman can't beat is Father Time. I'm sure that's a metaphor, but literally on the cover, he is punching an old man, who I guess is supposed to be Father Time. There's more. There's an issue of Spider-Man versus Powdered Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy. We'll take a look at that one. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of other ones, but there are there. I'm going to have to go through my collection and pick out. If you guys know of any ridiculous, silly superhero comics, let me know, because I'll add those in. I'll go out and buy them. I don't care how much they are. I love those sorts of things. I love when comics just deviate from the norm, even when it's ridiculous. Like they recently did it with Captain America. They just made him a werewolf for an issue. Just Cap Wolf. It was great. Poor Sam Wilson doesn't seem to be having a great time as Captain America. If you guys are reading that series, it's pretty good. Sam Wilson, of course, is the Falcon in the movies, and originally in the comics, he's currently Captain America. Now, I have a prediction for the movies, and of course, this isn't a spoiler because I have no inside information, but I'm going to throw it out there just in case. I think that in the Civil War story, Captain America is going to die, or either in that story or in the Infinity War story. And I think that Sam Wilson will be in the next round of Marvel movies. He will be the Captain America. I'm not a big fan of the guy who currently plays Captain America. I believe his name is Chris Evans. I don't think he's perfect for it. I have all the people, or most in my head, of who I would have liked to play each character. I think they cast Thor perfectly. That guy is just like, he was meant to play Thor. What's his name? Chris Hemsworth. Me and my girlfriend have this ongoing battle of the more handsome Hemsworth. I think it's Chris. She thinks it's Liam. She's a Hunger Games fan, so that's bullshit. Oh, sorry. I think Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is also pretty perfect. Although I hate the Iron Man character, I never liked him. I never liked Tony Stark. It's an interesting little fact that Stan Lee said when creating Iron Man, he wanted to make a character that was just a good guy that was totally unlikable. And he did that, but people love Iron Man. He kind of caught on. I believe the color choices also, contributed to that. I think I read that Stan Lee made him yellow and red to make it kind of an ugly color combo. Even though the original Iron Man was just gray, a yellowish gray, and like a big weird suit. Alright. Let's color in his head. You could almost not even see this peach color. There we go. Keep these pencils sharp. There we go, stylish Tony Stark. Look at that. I think that's my favorite color combination, is like a hot pink and a blue. Just do a quick color of the background, just for the hell of it. Now, I guess, I call myself an artist, although I never like calling myself things like that. I do drawings, but I never really post them or sell them, although I've sold a couple in the past. Maybe one day I'll do a video showing you guys some of my artwork. What I do is I do pencil. I do pencil sketches, and then I scan them into the computer, and I color them on the computer. So I do maybe one every 3 months, because I am not a trained artist. I am self-taught, so I think it takes me longer than your normal, real professional artist, because I am by no means a professional anything. I also have a studio in my home and record music. I like to tell people that I'm not great at anything, but I'm above average at a bunch of things. Just enough to have a lot of hobbies where I could, do a lot of things, but I don't do any of those things particularly great. But who cares? It's, I haven't put in the time in anything to become a master of it, which is what it takes, just time and time and time. So Tony makes sure his armor is fitting just right. is. So you know what, guys, I'm going to stop there. Let's go back and look at our beautiful work. So far we've colored Iron Man, Giant Man, and good old Captain America. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this coloring video. I'll continue to do more. I'll show you some other books I got. You might like these. Let me put this one away for. So first we have a Lisa Frank coloring book. If any of you are children of the 90s, Lisa Frank put out all these silly, like cat and dog and turtle and super colorful fluorescent colors, just all the folders and binders. So I found a Lisa Frank coloring book. And then, although it's a little beat up, I found a My Little Pony coloring book at Target. And this one includes stickers. Oh my god. I know there's quite the community of My Little Pony lovers, which is great. I don't judge. They call them bronies. And there's a documentary online about them. In New York and Brooklyn, there was a PonyCon, or whatever it's called, BronyCon, a convention for just all My Little Pony stuff. So we'll do a video where we're coloring in these My Little Pony and Lisa Frank ones next. So look forward to that. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the pencil scratching and the sharpening and the whispering and everything, and maybe this pencil noise. So that's it for now, guys, and I'll see you soon.